to another episode of the Monday Morning Learning Podcast, and very excited to have Aarti Kaushal as my guest today. Aarti, lovely to see you after more than, I think, 10, 12 years, I think. Any welcome words before I give you a formal introduction?
Thank you so very much, Ravi, for inviting me. It's such a pleasure to be with you. And like you said, a decade, it just seems like yesterday.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me here with you.
Absolutely. So, short introduction, Aarti, for our listeners. Aarti Kaushal has over 25 years of experience across various industries with a focus on exploring and executing a sustaining solution for individuals, teams, and organizations. She has served as a strategic partner to the business with the responsibility for embedding people development technology strategy. She's experienced in driving executive decision-making and influencing internal leadership and third parties to deploy best-in-class technologies for people development. Aarti has a passion for people, data, learning, technology, and processes. There are a lot of specialities, and she's worked across learning technologies in terms of systems. And in terms of application areas, she specializes in learning systems integration strategy, definition and deployment, learning transformation and change, operating model, business process change management, and new workflow implementation. I've seen, I think, more than 30, 35 recommendations for you, Aarti, on LinkedIn. I was thinking, what is the appropriate comment I should pick up? So I've just picked up one, I think, just a couple of sentences from John O'Neill, where he said the work that Aarti does makes ecosystems out of technology and people, creating human-driven solutions that work like well-oiled machines. On a personal level, she demonstrates the finest combination of ingenuity, planning, and grit and delivering for her team. So that's the introduction for you, Aarti. And let me start off with the themes for today. There are just 4 themes for Aarti now. We'll start off with insights for young L&D professionals and HR management grads. We'll look at performance consulting to an extent, a future of learning tech, because Aarti is in learning technology, artificial intelligence in HR and her views on those. We'll also look at layoffs and how to be a human HR. And finally, who've been the influencers for Aarti professionally and personally. So the first question for you, Aarti, the top 3 corporate lessons which you can share to the young L&D HR professional, which actually help you thrive in your career.
Sure. Thank you, Ravi. What comes to my mind right on top is this quote from Jiddu Krishnamurthi, the Indian philosopher. He said that there is no end to education. It is not that you read a book, pass an examination, and finish the education. The whole life, from the moment you are born to the moment you die, is a process of learning. I think that stays with me quite a lot, and part and parcel of my DNA when it comes to learning. I'm very passionate, and if you ask about insights for young HR or L&D professionals, and if I have to limit that to just 3, the first thing I would say is embracing change. In today's world, everything, every moment, there is a change that is around. So that is on top. Yep. Being adaptable, open to new situations, new demands, new changes. Who expected and thought of COVID to be such a major pandemic and change the entire way that we learn, the entire way as we live? Everything was changed. So embracing change right on top. The second one I would say is building relationships. If I think about it, like you and I, we are speaking today, is after about a decade. And that's because of the relationships that we've built with each other. I think this is very key. Today's work environment does call, and there are more moments that people work either hybrid or remote. In this situation, more than ever, it's about how you build those relationships. There is certainly a power in face-to-face. There's certainly a power when you meet someone. And for someone like me who is who's a person that values feel. That's something for me, the touch, a hug, a warm gesture, a smile, which is not from a distance in a Zoom, but actually in person, means a lot. But having said so, even these interactions prove so vital since the COVID time. So building those relationships is my second piece.
Sure.
And the third one I would say is continuous learning.
Mm.
We cannot be, I think, as being from India, there's always that you grow up with fables, with stories. And one of the ones that I quite clearly remember is this particular carpenter who goes and, rather not the carpenter, but the woodcutter who goes to the forest and cuts the wood.
Mm-hmm.
And the fellow one is also going, and the yield of the fellow woodcutter is much more. And when they bring that back to the guru and ask, why is that a difference? Is because the second one was sharpening his axe as well. So it's important that while we must be excellent in what we do and how we do, but do we know about our surroundings? Is it moment that we upskill ourselves? It's a point of continuous learning, continuous growing. And it's not necessarily, as we know, the principle of 70-20-10, that maybe digital or instructor led could just be 10%. So your education is just 10%, but how much of experience and exposure have you received? Try and volunteer to get that and maximum exposure and maximum experience so that you know much more. So continuous learning. So in summary, these three: embracing change, building relationships, and continuous learning. These would be the three tips that I would say.